the goal of this presentation, giving credibility to testimonies in the subsequent videos, indicating I'm a reflective practitioner of education, and I do not consider things lightly. I want to address issues that are profoundly relevant to today's society and fellow humans.
Deep education is a form of higher education that opens new creative imaginaries to solve the current problems humanity faces. We want to bring wisdom back to the academia, connect the microcosm with the macrocosm, uniting the sciences, the arts, and the humanities to build up the academic mainstream of tomorrow.
These issues are often ignored in higher education, however crucial they may be. But before I start, subscribers should know that I have a 30-year scientific experience in social research in several countries. I did a PhD in applied linguistics on the macrosemantics of teacher cognition when planning their courses, and another PhD in educational psychology on strategies of group learning. In addition to these two PhDs, I was awarded 6 honorary doctorate degrees and equivalent in the form of honorary professorships in universities in Argentina, Peru, China, and Asia Pacific. I published 48 specialized books and 290 scientific articles and book chapters in 15 languages, and I have been visiting professors in 21 countries. I've been working for 20 years now in a department that was ranked #1 in the United States for the last 18 years, in a school of education that was ranked #1 in the US for the last 3 years. And my university is ranked number 25 in the world rankings of Shanghai for 2019-2020. The US Department of Education, our Ministry of Education, gave me a big award, almost $500,000, to inquire into the impact and effects of a deep approach to education. And they were highly significant and important. And we have in our hearts the desire to resolve many big problems our humanity faces. For example, of course, undernutrition and overpopulation, and a way of looking at things in our world that is kind of erroneous, to see everything in terms of objects rather than subjects. And that changes our reality. That means that people want to accumulate more and more objects rather than developing their inner self and wisdom. And that led to the destruction of biodiversity, of cultures, of linguistic diversity, and even the destruction of social bonds, of moral values and education. Education was used to maintain the social divide. And health, even health, is submitted to financial interest and perverted from its goal. We also may observe a loss of civil rights and free speech, censorship, control of the media, and there are many social injustices within a society that needs a change and is in deep crisis currently. I'd like to bring a new concept to you. It's the concept of transdiscipline. You know what is a discipline? Math is a discipline, science, music, all these disciplines have developed in the academia as standalone, and they don't communicate much with other disciplines. They developed a vocabulary, and in a sense, it closes their mindset within. The problem is creates boundaries between ways of looking at life, between the different sciences and humanities. And so there is very few aspects of collaboration. And so that motivates the logic of interdisciplinary teams of research. It doesn't really address the transdisciplinary need. What's the transdiscipline? It's beyond the discipline. It's the connection to society, connection to the world, the rapport to the world, the rapport to the earth, and to the self, to wisdom, to philosophy. So it's very important to see that actually we should and we could see things very differently, making it knowledge useful to life. And so what is deep education? It's humane, it's for humanity, it's humanitarian, education of the heart, as much as education of the mind. It considers life as an education project, connecting the soul, the earth, and the cosmos. Educating the youth to firstness. Do you know, in Canism, for example, in China, there is the first principle. The first principle is about the soul, but it's about what cannot be put in words. So there was the story of a disciple asking the master, can you explain to me the first principle and give me an example? And the master replied, oh, if I could explain, it would be the second principle. And so the first principle is about the soul, about the self, about intuition, about contact with the ineffable, contact with life and consciousness. So we should really educate the youth to firstness as much as secondness, empathic understanding of others, and thirdness, which is using concepts, because we can use concepts with no wisdom at all. And as Professor Chuang suggested, we should develop hope, optimism, altruism, and knowledge, developing deeper states of awareness that lead to wisdom in action and service to others, building what could be the knowledge for the future. But a deep approach to higher education is immersive, is a form of apprenticeship, learner-centered, technology-rich, and project-based. So it's holistic. Courses in which students are researching solutions. That means open programs, open degrees. The students could even name their degrees. For example, an association of friends, they could create a master's of friendship. That means having the philosophy of friendship, the psychology of friendship, the sociology of friendship, having the history of friendship across centuries, and so on and so forth. Creating a situation in which students are curriculum builders with an abundance of topic-related resources, articles, slideshows, online videos, and content-rich websites and books. And here is an example of what we experimented for the language and culture program in the deep approach in Ivy League and Big Ten universities in the US. And we provided resources to students that were online, but they would use in their projects individually. With that liberty, they had to use the material the way they wanted at their own pace. We noticed with control groups, there was a pre-post interviewing with control groups in the same universities that were not using the deep approach. We found that the fear of failure, the fear of failing, the fear, simply being in that atmosphere of fear at the time they learn, diminished significantly in the experimental group, in the deep approach group. And the NCOVAS shows a significant difference per factor between the control group, experimental group, in terms of growth of the deep approach, of strategic approach, and also a reduction of the surface apathetic approach. And also we noticed cultural learning increased significantly. We think in terms of thinking small. Small is beautiful. Sociologists in Japan, Masano Toda, found that the society, the size of groups humans feel comfortable with should not exceed 150. If you have groups, learning groups of 150 people, after 2-3 years, they will know each other and they will feel in their family. And so when you develop a micro campus, or pocket university is a university you can put in your pocket with 150 residents. Maybe you had some non-residents, 150, but they are on a campus flower, which means small domes or round houses where for, feminine structures, and develop a connective field across many campuses. That could be that some students start in Taiwan, continue in Florida or in Wisconsin, further their studies with some courses in India or Australia, and then come back with their master's or their PhD. Mobility, that's important. Small is beautiful, not oversized, but all these campuses will be connected online. So I hope I stimulated in you the curiosity that is necessary to learn more. So thank you, and goodbye.